Thank you, Lord, for delivering us here safely. And thank you for the sacrifice of those on 9/11. And please keep us safe. Please let us make decisions wisely and for the betterment of our community. Keep us safe, and we're more blessed every day than we realize. So thank you for everything and everything. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Freedom of information act. Freedom of Information Act requires the freedom of information act notice of this meeting and this agenda were provided to all of you. You have a preference for postal notification. Roll call, please. Commissioner Barker. Here. Commissioner Hoover.
Here.
Commissioner Grant. Here. Commissioner Lawson.
Here.
This is our first administrative meeting, and I always want to hear from the members of the administrative committee. Any other commissioner, if you have any kinds of questions or anything you have, please put it in writing and give it to the chairman, and we'll take it from there. Proposed change to the district 2020 holiday schedule.
All right, so when Keith was interim district manager, the decision was made to provide a floating day off worth of leave in lieu of the district formally recognizing Confederate Memorial Day, which is still a state holiday. And so the first proposed action item on this agenda is to simply swap a uniformly recognized federal holiday of Juneteenth in 2022, rather than to continue the practice of providing a day's worth of personal leave in the current floating fashion. So what I'm proposing to the admin committee, that the district uniformly recognize Juneteenth on Monday, the 20th of June, 2022, and that's instead of the Sunday, the 19th of June, 2022, and bring these changes to the commission at the regular meeting on the 27th of September, 2 weeks from tonight.
I make a motion to recommend the proposed changes to the commission associated with the district 2022 holiday schedule.
This is the committee. Do we vote or we just
No, we don't.
We just get a consensus opinion of what we want to do?
Yes, voting because that's why I'm ex officio in the event of a tie, if that ever happens, and I was in tie.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if that's the case, we don't need to do a formal motion in second, do we? Attorney?
It comes out of committee as a recommendation to the commission, so it passes the committee, because it passes the committee, it comes out of the recommendation to the commission, and you go through the second.
So we want to go through the formal vote process.
Yeah, that's why the committee, doing your work in the committee is a better way to go.
Discussion? Alan?
The only thing I would like to make a request when we put it in the handbook, is this just says Juneteenth. It doesn't say National Independence Day, because we already have an Independence Day. No matter what the federal government says, we already have a independence, so this should just be Juneteenth in the book.
But it's here. Yeah, I was about to say that, that's just the name. It's National Independence Day. I mean, it's different from actually the 4th of July Independence Day. It's
I know what it says, and I'm saying that we already have an Independence Day for everybody in the United States. We don't need to have a national Independence Day, because one on July 4th is the National Independence Day.
I don't agree with you. I didn't think, because that's what it, they do, national independence.
Yeah, there's a political move,
Well,
from the federal government. And I've had about enough of all of the things on both sides of the aisle.
Let's, can we vote? Call for the vote. Leave it aye, or to leave it as is.
I second.
Well, I don't have to second that. If you will, I'll vote. Okay.
Commissioner Donald?
Yes.
Commissioner Clifford? I'll have to vote until it's time. Commissioner Grant?
Vote 56, yes.
Commissioner Washington?
No.
Aye.
Number 4. Change to the annual leave payout at employment separation.
Okay, so the members of the annual committee will know that no changes to the annual leave accrual rate have been proposed from the current practice. However, the district wants to promote service longevity with the district, and the proposed changes to the annual leave payout upon separation of employment involve a tiered system based on the employee's longevity with the district. Much like the invested in the benefit system, the proposed changes include a prorated ratio of annual leave hours paid out. After 8 years or more of service with the district, the employee receives 100% of the annual leave hours up to 400 hours upon separation of employment. So there's no changes with that. If an employee is not with the district for 7 months, then the employee does not receive an annual payout, an annual leave payout of the hours. And again, that's not changed. So that's the current practice. However, if an employee is with the district for less than 3 years, proposed changes say 25% of the annual leave hours are paid out to a bank. And then an employee must be with the district 5.5 years to be eligible to receive 50% or half of the annual leave hours that are banked. And then an employee that would be eligible for 75% of the annual leave hours when they have 5.5 years to 8 years of service. And then again, the 100% payout up to the 400 hours are proposed after 8 years of service with the district. So I've been part of government organizations where annual leave banks were restricted to, I'll give you an example of 2 times the employee's annual accrual amount. So if you get 80 hours of annual leave per year, the most you're ever able to bank is 160 hours a week. I've been part of government entities where the ability to bank annual leave hours is much more restricted, and employees are encouraged to use vacation to promote better work-life balance. And so the ability to bank up and cash out 400 hours of annual leave, put that into perspective, 10 weeks of extra pay, 5 extra paychecks upon employment separation with the district, and that's an extremely rich benefit. In an attempt to better promote longevity with the district, I'm proposing that the benefit continues for all district employees that have served 8 years or more, and be prorated for employees that have served less than 8 years with the district. And I'm proposing these changes get presented to the district commission at the regular meeting on the 27th of September 2021.
I make a motion to recommend the proposed changes to the commission associated with the annual leave payout at employment separation.
I have a question, Dave, and working with you. So currently, if it's not 8 or more, you can take your annual leave if you actually leave, is that correct?
It's
No.
not prorated, or not?
So you're not allowed to take your leave with you. There's very few employers that would let you transfer leave. But it's
Not take it from the cash out on the.
cash out,
Right, that's what-
right? And so that proration, I had some discussions with the chief. He was proposing a lot longer to get vested, meaning, 15 years, and that's not reasonable. So we kind of met in the middle that after 8 years, it's 100% payout to kind of promote that longevity, and all the while, the employees can build up those percentages as far as what they can get paid out. So if you are 7 years with the district, and you have 400 hours, you can still get cashed out in 300 hours. And to put that into perspective, that's quite a few extra paychecks. Instead of 10 paychecks, we're talking, 7 to 8 paychecks. 7 to 8 weeks worth of work. So it's quite a big benefit to be able to build up 400 hours to be able to cash out. It used to be, back in the day, unlimited, and that was just not feasible for the district to be able to pay those amounts out.
I have a question too. A lot of the organizations that I work with over the years have a policy, I would say a lot of, several of them have a policy where what you accrue, you have to use during the year. Is there a reason that we are not going by annual leave having to be used in the year from the time frame?
Yeah, and that's basically, almost like a de facto, if somebody has to go out for a long term, as far as getting surgery, major surgery, they can use that leave in lieu of having to take unpaid leave.
But you're asking where you use the leave, correct? Like you use it or you use it for a certain amount.
Yeah, and that I've seen a lot more in the private sector, as far as, within government entities, I've seen them, and then if they'll just say, I get 80 hours a year, right? If I get 3 weeks or 120 hours, then I can bank 240 versus 160. Now, if you've been there longer, you can bank more. I've never seen where you can cash up to 400 hours out. That's the most, rich benefit I've seen as far as being able to cash out your leave upon separation. And that's why I think it's important that the employees that have been here for 8 years or more, that's a lot of service to the district. I believe we should get that, right? But I don't believe that, I can give you several examples of employees that have been here less than 2 years, cashing out hundreds of hours when they need to go elsewhere. And that practice, as far as, giving them a pile of cash to leave the organization, that's detrimental to the district.
So, that's what the second table is doing, is put the citation on that.
Full 100% payout after 6 months.
And I'm not versed in working with the fire department and something like that, but is that being able to do what you're talking about here, is that something that the fire department looks forward to, or?
So all of
about
these,
using the loop?
I specifically went to the chief with, hey, if you can wave your magic wand, what would you do? And honestly, the chief came back with, you shouldn't get 100% payout unless you've been with the district 15 years. And so that's, okay, we're going one side of the pendulum where we're cashing out immediately, an extreme would be 15 years. So we're kind of like trying to swing that back into the middle of what would make,
This is the middle ground between unlimited and user to loop.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
It's never been used with
We have to let them pay out all of 100 hours.
Okay. I make a motion Let's call for the vote.
Commissioner Barnhart,
Yes?
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Walker,
Yes.
motion carries unanimously.
All right.
Number 5, proposed changes to the open and resolution of termination certificate on the South Carolina other retirement benefit employee program.
Okay. So the first page of the associated OPEB portion of the meeting packet shows the cover of the 2017 audited financial statement. And so I wanted to show the admin committee where I started with my investigation as far as the district OPEB and the retiree health care benefits. And again, we may agree to disagree as far as what needs to be done with OPEB, but I don't want to disagree about the facts and the figures plainly laid out in the audited financial statements, and these are available on the district website. So what I'm showing you is a table, which is page 45 of the district audited financial statement. And you will see the table at the bottom shows the schedule of employer contributions. And so this goes back to 2008, okay? And the annual required contribution you will see was $481,000, and the district contributed just less than $134,000. And so when the district continued to only fund the OPEB benefit, say, by a third, this chasm growth between what should have been contributed and what's actually available to fund these benefits. And so I'm showing you this table from 2017 because this is the last year the figures were presented this way in the audited financial statement. The Brittingham Group began producing the district annual audited financial statements in 2018, and that's when the format of the OPEB figures being presented also changed. And I happen to like this older way because to me, that makes a lot more sense. You're showing what was put in there versus what should have been put in there. And the table that shows the schedule of employer contributions set the stage that the district never really had a plan to pay for the benefit it was promising both current retirees and the future retirees. And so in that table, between 2008 and 2017, the district created a huge difference between what it should have been funding for OPEB and what was actually set aside to fund the level of benefits promised. And that difference is shown in that table between 2008 and 2017 is over $3.5 million. And so when you add in 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021, you get my Excel spreadsheet on the next page. And why I'm showing you that, this is now nearly $5.2 million. And the longer I don't present to the commission a $5.2 million problem, the more I own this problem. And I didn't create the problem, but I'm being forced to deal with the issue because the district will never be able to afford to catch up to that $5.2 million OPEB liability. And this is why Bill Hancock from the Brittingham Group has been raising this issue when he presented the district audited financial statements. Because the district never had a plan to fund the hundreds of thousands of dollars every year that it would require to be able to contribute to fulfill the promise of providing retiree health care benefits to current and future retirees. And so that's why I had Tim and Chip review a resolution and research the proposed changes to the OPEB retiree health care to make sure that what we're proposing is legal and the district is not opening itself up for liability by making these changes. And in fact, the proposed changes have been implemented by most of the government entities in the state of South Carolina. And Lisa's going to get into that. So again, the issues with OPEB go back to the district's annual audited financial statement and the requirement by GASB, which is the accounting standard, to make all local government entities quantify and state the liability associated with providing the retiree health care benefit. Once these local governments had to quantify and place these tremendous liabilities on their annual audited financial statements, many governing bodies got sticker shock associated with the millions of dollars that they had made in these promises. And these governing bodies soon also found out that there was no statutory requirement to provide these retiree health care benefits. And most of the government entities in the state of South Carolina have already gotten out of the business of providing these benefits altogether. And I would also like all members of the administrative committee to understand that I've spoken to 27 out of 28 future retirees. There was only one future retiree employed by the district that's been out long term. So I had to look 27 employees in the eye and explain this to them, because I wanted them to see this problem and hear the problem from the horse's mouth, and not watch a YouTube video and find out later why this has happened and why these recommendations are being sent through the administrative committee to the commission as a whole. Because the longer we don't do anything about these problems, the longer we're spreading along current retirees and future retirees, and we have no way of paying for the benefits that have been promised. And so with that, I want to turn it over to Lisa, and she's going to give you a better understanding of some of the things that have happened.
Thank you all for your attention on this. This is a topic that's been brought up for several years now in regards to funding and how it is benefit. It's been on the financials since 2008. It was first brought to the committee's attention 2018, first quarter, second quarter, and it was $100,000 that was approved in the budget for fiscal year 2020 to start funding the OPEB liability. And in order to claim, we research ways to change the benefit, we propose changes to the benefit, and the district voted on changes to the benefit to try to reduce the cost of the liability. We received GASB 7475 statement in May. That was an error. It did not have the changes that the commission made in 2020, and had we not made any changes, our liability would have been over $14 million. So the GASB report still showed a $9 million liability with all the changes we made last year. So in doing that, we looked at it and gave pretty much came up with this idea that I'm going to present to you. ADAC, I know you guys have heard that term and read that term. It's the actuarial determined employer contribution. And in 2020, the ADAC was $750,000. Currently, it's $487,000. That's what the decision to change. That's still under $500,000 a year. Had we not made any changes, our liability for ADAM would be $1.2 million. The current balance is down on the ordinance is $183,000. That's how much employer contributions have been made into the trust fund, which is currently, I've stated earlier, $5 million plus for years. This is the funding policy that was changed the policy last year. And the green square over there, we still have liability for funding. We currently have 26 employees, or 26 retirees participating in the plan, and we have 28 current employees that are eligible for the full funding. The balance is in our OPEB trust and only be used to pay retiree premiums or retiree costs. This year, fiscal year 21-22, we budgeted $370,000 to fund the OPEB.
Back up one page. Do it? I have a question. All right, looking at the page you got right now, the very top line, that's how much money, $483,000 that we have put into the trust fund account, right?
We haven't put quite that much, some of it is interest and earned.
Well, that's how much is in the account right now. Right, and I've got $483,000, put it down to the bottom line, $370,000 is what's budgeted to go out this year. That's gonna leave, what, $113,000?
No, sir, that'll make it $700,000 or $800,000.
So the 483 plus 370, we budgeted this year. This is the first year that we incorporated contributions to that trust fund into the budget. Because I went back and I tried to understand, when I'm putting this budget together, I will be paying for this trust, and we're not. All we're doing is paying the premium for the current retiree and not building up a balance to be able to pay that future benefit and the future liability associated with these benefits. And so not only are we not paying for the future liability, but all we have been doing is paying the premium for the current retiree. And that's how we have gotten into the habit of only paying a third, say, of this annual required contribution.
Okay, so what we have in the account right now, $483,000 plus the $370,000.
We have not made that contribution.
What we would have.
Yeah.
So what's in the account right now? Flat $483.
Right.
How much is coming out this year?
None. As we receive payments, as we receive bills from FIBA, we pay those premiums for retirees. but we're not building anything towards the future liability.
So we're taking care of the premium payments, so we're not making any payments to anybody.
Correct.
Basically, that 483,000 per McDonald's Kavanaugh actually, we should have at least 6 million in our account payment.
Any other discussion? Item?
Now, just a couple minutes more. There are 758 local subdivisions in the state of South Carolina. All of these associations are eligible to participate in KIPA and also to have retirement funding.
How did we get 250,000?
That came straight off.
Yeah, that's school district as well. So the school district associated with, our county entity.
So the county, other stuff.
Counties and cities. Of those 758, there are 44 local government agencies participating in work, SC4 right now, which is basically the $483,000 that we just talked about. Now, Jennifer Gray at Audited stated that several of these members have less than 45 retirees, and some of them only have 1 or 2.
What is for that?
That's to be the
Trust fund.
trust fund. South Carolina other retirement benefit employer trust. Right now, the current path we're on, we can continue to fund this liability. We have to continue to raise taxes. We're going to continue to stay uncompetitive in compensation because we're raising taxes paying for this instead of reinvesting in our current employees. And we'll continue to battle over turnover and possibly suffer service to our residents. So we've got multiple problems, and we need multiple answers, or we have one solution for these multiple problems. Turnover, the Society of Human Resources Management, their benchmark for the cost of turnover is between 1 and 2% annual salary for each employee. Here I've calculated what the cost has been for the past 3 years just for our firefighters. Doesn't include the PPE, which is $3,000 a person. And I settled in the middle at 1.5% of the base salary. This is the table that gives you all of our turnovers in 2018. As you can see, we have quite a few of our fire turnover. And just fire turnover calculated at 1.5 times annual salary is $1.1 million. We can recap the fire commission meeting. We brought up very well. She brought up that, we're the only fire department in the area without floors, with the lowest paying fire department among the auto agents, and really more than that. There is an alternative solution, and that alternative solution is to change the benefit. Utilize the budgeted funding for compensation and support transition. Utilize the trust fund balance to phase out current budget of retirees and to remove the continuously growing liability reinvest that money in our community. We can do this, and we can eliminate the problem by following this pyramid of changing the retirement program, the funding program in 2021, establishing a structured ongoing compensation strategy. For the next 2 years, utilize the budget of the 370,000 to cushion the transition, the next 2 fiscal years, utilize the trust fund to cushion our retirees so they are not being told immediately that they have to pay their costs. But using that, keeping them at what they're at now, but letting them know in 2 years, that money's going to be gone and they'll have to pay the full cost. Utilize the overhead funding to reinvest in our human resources, through the market pay adjustments for frontline, and adding force to our firefighters. In fiscal year 22, 23, and beyond, we will continue to analyze the compensation in the market and make sure that we are doing our employees to whatever percentile we decide the district wants to be at. Whether it's the 25th percentile, which is 75% of the rest of the people make more than us, or 50% percentile where you're right in the middle, where half the people make less and half the people make more, or if you want to be the best employer in the area, put it at 90%. That we need to decide on a percentage that we want to aim for so that we can make that goal and identify how we can get to it. And that is my presentation. Thank you for your attention. And I hope that you all have information you need to consider this.
Thank you, Lisa. I have a question. Back to the alternative option, when you said, of course, looking at the slide here, changing the benefits, utilizing the budget, and coming back, removing continuous growing liabilities to reinvest in human resources. When you say investment in human resources, could you, I guess, elaborate what you mean exactly here when you say reinvest in human resources? What does that entail?
That's basically a concise term for let's look at how we can bring our firefighters to competitive rate of pay and consider bringing
As well as some of the frontline employees in solid waste and wastewater, and where we're seeing turnover, be able to make those adjustments in their pay to bring them more in line with the market. And right now, we either need to re-recruit our skilled positions, or they're going to continue to be recruited right out of our organization. And I want to invest into our current employees by using that money that was budgeted in fiscal year 22 and redeploy that towards those increases. But the only way to do that and free up that money is associated with this resolution that I'm bringing to the admin committee for a recommendation to take that to the full commission so we can get the process started associated with eliminating the OPEB as it stands now.
So with the, I guess, with the money, if we do away with it, the employees, the current employees, will they see a pay increase as well as new employees when they come on board as far as compatible salary to other entities?
And that's what we want to, if this resolution goes through, right, and we can start that process, we still will be back to show specifically how we're recommending to redeploy those resources in both the general fund and the wastewater fund employees.
and the target is frontline hourly employees. So anyone who's salary, not anyone, but the majority of the salary employees is not see anything in this first way. CDL driver, or vehicle operator, or equipment operator, your pump station tax, your wastewater tax,
Mechanic, the police,
mechanic.
So is this pretty much the only way we're gonna get that salary increase for frontline, employees?
It's either that or propose a recommendation to raise taxes.
Is
There
this,
was
is
no
so,
money in the budget other than the normal merit increase for employees right now.
so pretty much you're saying this is a guarantee to happen if we do away with the system?
That money is budgeted, it's in our budget, it's available, if we decide to do away with the OPEB budget. That money would be available to, Dave would do, amendment to the budget and put it to you guys, to redirect that money to salary.
Okay, and then you said if you look and over, what, 23 out of 24?
27 out of 28 future retirees, so all the employees that were hired before July 2008. Our current policy for OPEB says if you were hired prior to July of 2008, you qualify for this benefit. And I've had to look, several firefighters, a lot of people in the line tell them, I'm sorry, and this was promised to you, but the district never had a plan to actually pay for it. And this is how much should have been put every year, and this is what was. And now this chasm is too far that we will never be able to catch up to the 5.2 million growth.
How would you do that?
Not well.
One thing I do want to mention is that the retirees would still be able to participate in the health plan, but they would have to pay the full cost.
That's a lot to absorb. Yes.
So, just like that one fund, in the presentation was, so because that money's been allocated, the money that is already there, not what the budget is for, but that money is going to be distributed among, as it was promised. The retirees. Correct, that's to help with the phase down, so that it's not like, you know, so that way that helps. January 1, you gotta pay $508 a month. And you can start to make plans for it. Because I'm gonna tell you from firsthand experience, I had a friend of mine who worked out in the police office for 26 years. They called him on one day, they go, it's gone. And that was, would be the same year or somewhere else, and there was no consideration given to, like, you know, like the job was being able to sort out. So that's a real life experience.
Any other? Let's call for first. Any questions? Yes, okay. Yeah, no, okay, it's a lot to absorb.
Yeah, I want to try to play this in my mind out to the whole world. We tried something with retirement and it didn't work, right? Okay. We got $483,000 in the budget. Sitting there, we allocated whatever we decided we're gonna do it. No. How much do we have?
The 483,000 will help pay for the retiree premium until that money runs out.
Okay.
And that's the only thing you pay for. That's the only thing you can do with that money.
Do we have anybody already accessing the retirement health care?
26 employees,
26.
current retirees.
And they are accessing the health care or retirement benefits.
Correct.
We're paying for their premium. But if we do this, we're gonna stop paying for their premium, and they're gonna have to start paying their own premium.
And we have projected that that 483,000 will last 2 to 3 years, where they're gonna have,
So that gives the transition time frame.
Right.
For people that are already active.
Absolutely.
And we're not putting, we said we surrender, not putting anything else in to replace it. Other than the fact that somewhere along the line, somebody's gonna get some increases in their pay, which will help them, whatever they're gonna do.
pay for it now. And the current employees are gonna be made aware that we're no longer doing this, and when they retire, they are responsible for bridging that gap between when they retire and Medicare eligibility.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I make a motion to recommend the proposed resolution to the commission association district retiring house care benefit. Call for the vote, please.
Mr. Ronald?
Yes.
Mr. Grant?
No.
Mr. Walker?
Unfortunately, I guess we have to, because I don't like the idea of $45 million more than we can afford. Okay, yeah. I apologize to all of our retirees who screwed up and disadvantaged this.
I like the fact I've been here for 24 years. When I came here, that was a given. We were paying for retired health insurance. I'm sorry that that was never voted on. So, I feel like since we're taking it away, at least we're giving something. We're giving the balance of the money will focus in retiring until it's gone. Thank you very much.
If we don't do this, we're gonna end up having.
We're gonna be bankrupt. Just that simple, bankrupt. We didn't know about this until
Fair match,
sure you may.
and don't forget that if we're able to reallocate the money, then you're getting paid today instead of waiting for your retirement day to get your 20 years later. And then it puts us more competitive so that we can get and keep qualified people. So, no, there's no easy answer, but 9 million in the hole until we go,
Right. And we're trying to bring this up to another level. And, so, we gotta make hard decisions. I mean, it pains me because I'm a retiree, so, let's move on. Item number 6, proposed changes to the hospital virtual meetings and draft resolution 2021 to 2022.
So what you have in your packet is a draft resolution 21006. And members of the administrative committee will know that this is very, very similar to resolution 20-003. And back in 2020, due to the pandemic, there was a transition to optional virtual meetings, and that's what we're trying to do here, is create the option for the district to hold virtual meetings. And so what I'm asking is that the administrative committee make a recommendation to be able to take this to the full commission on the 27th of December 2021 for our regular committee meeting, or I'm sorry, for our regular commission meeting, that we have the option to be able to meet virtually if necessary. Obviously, when we're meeting and going over reams and reams of facts and figures, it's much more effective to be able to meet in person and hold the meeting with the public. If we don't have the option to do that, we need a backup option, so that's why I'm making the recommendation.
Any questions?
I have real problems with doing this. When we voted to use the remote, previously, there were all kinds of problems with doing it. There were a couple of times we couldn't complete the meeting because of the electronics that were involved. The commissioners in general did not follow the procedures that we set up. Everybody started talking and gathering what they wanted to do. So that's just our little procedure, and we'll right down the garbage can. I feel that we were hired to do a job. And if we send our people out in the public arena to do their job, we should be doing our job. Right now, we're sitting in a meeting room that is 3 times as big as no, 4 times as big as what we had when we did the arrangements earlier. And we've got airflow in here, we've got a lot more airspace. We've got a better setup, we can set farther apart. And I don't honestly see any reason why we have to do telephonic or Zoom type meetings.
And so I'm not advocating for virtual meetings. I'm just advocating for the option that the district has the ability to meet virtually if necessary. And that's what this resolution does. And so we have a regular commission meeting scheduled for the 27th of September. And then if the members of the admin committee move, that's what we would take it to the commission on the 27th. The next potential meeting is the Ways and Means Committee on the 18th of October. I would much rather have that in person, but if we can't, we would have the option to do it virtually. And then the same thing the week after the 25th of October. If we can't meet in person, we have at least the option to do that. And what I would advocate for is to have Zoom practice. And when I had to go to this virtually with a previous governing body, we had Zoom practice. Because I did not want the first time for everybody to log in when it's meeting time and 5 minutes before the meeting. We scheduled Zoom and we tried to get on there to do test. Can you hear me? Can you not hear me? Can you mute? Can you not mute? You know, how is it working? To have practice so that we're not scrambling 5 minutes before the meeting to get everybody logged on. And so that's what I would advocate for.
Well, if we're going to be doing that, if we call it in-person meeting, that means everybody will be showing up at the in-person meeting. Nobody goes into telephonic because they didn't want to come to an in-person meeting. So we either all show up for an in-person meeting or we all go on to an electronic.
This is an option.
Committee Chair, may I speak?
I'm just telling you,
Go ahead.
you have to.
If I don't recognize you, please, not you. I would like to recognize you.
Committee Chair, may I speak?
Yes.
This is a contingency plan in the event that the powers that be say that we can no longer have meetings in person. This is not an option. This is not like, oh, I don't feel like going, I'm just in front of my computer. No, as long as there is no government entity saying, y'all aren't doing this anymore, then this is just a backup plan so that we can continue to serve our citizens. We are not, this is not, replacing in person at all. Because everybody in this community needs to be heard, and sometimes, you know, just looking at it on the TV, just like typing a message doesn't bring you through. So this is a contingency plan to so you know.
And in section 1 there, it says standards for electronic meetings. And so the commission is hereby authorized to conduct public meetings exclusively in electronic form. So they're like, we're authorized to, but that doesn't mean we have to.
Any other questions? No, she said it, that, that's what I was saying too, as this gives us the option. It doesn't stand this is what's gonna happen, but it's
Right.
an option, and if we know this pandemic is still out,
Right.
it's just that simple.
Okay, I make a motion to recommend the proposed resolution to the Commission Association with the future virtual commission meeting. Call for the vote, please.
Commissioner Brown,
Yes.
Commissioner Grant? Yes. Commissioner Watson?
No.
Motion carries unanimously.
Number 7, annual employee appreciation event.
All right, so right now, it would be fantastic if we could get all the employees at one time, the fire station one, and recognize the milestones and years of service. That's not looking real, fantastic as an option right now, to get 100 people together in one place at one time. And so what I had here is a proposed budget of $4,354 to be able to get everybody together, have a box lunch, and do recognition. What I'm basically explaining is that budget of $4,354, I haven't seen any heartburn from any members of the commission as far as don't spend that money, but we would redeploy that money in a different way to be able to do, say, departmental get-together or not having 100 people together. And so even if we can't get all the employees together at one time, we can still go to the different departments, have a box lunch, and explain to them all the different employees in the different departments that have 5, 10, 15, 40 years of service. So that's kind of what we're proposing right now. And if this whole thing goes away, and we're out of the pandemic by the middle of November, then absolutely, let's get everybody together and do that. So I just wanted to be able to, I don't need a recommendation. I just wanted to discuss that with the administrative committee. And if anybody has any problems with that, please let me know. Or if you have any ideas, please get those ideas to me. It's just, we haven't been able to do what we usually do since 2019. Obviously, we didn't do the event last year during the pandemic, and it's not looking like we're going to be able to do that. Based on the recommendation from Deputy Chief Engelman, we had to cancel our community event on the 7th of October, which is a Thursday. Typically, we get everybody together in the community in the Lowe's parking lot, in the helicopter, and have all of our trucks out there so the community can see the equipment that we use to do these jobs. And unfortunately, all the other entities that typically participate in that are no longer participating in that. And so we're not going to have that on Thursday, October 10th, at the Lowe's parking lot. And if we have the ability to, in the middle of November, obviously, you know that the employee appreciation event is scheduled for that Wednesday, the 10th of November, at Fire Station 1. I will keep everybody in the loop if that's going to happen. And then obviously, on Thursday, the 9th of December, when we're going to have the community, the bike field and the team building training, that is not looking like that's going to be possible to get 40 people in the same room working together to build bikes. And so if that's not going to happen, I will also keep everybody in the loop for those upcoming dates. But those are not looking promising at this point to get that many people together in one place.
Recommendation to the commission.
We did those individually, so we have all of those recommendations that will be brought to the commission as a whole on the 27th of September. And please, if you have questions, please get those questions to me so I can come and provide answers on the 27th of September.
All for adjournment. Thanks everybody for coming and